Go down.
Sink or crush. For example, the ship is going down after hitting the stone. The ship is going down after hitting the stone.
Go for.
Decide on something. Decide on something. For example, Carol wished that she had gone for Plan B.
Go in for.
Like or habitually take part in. Like or habitually take part in. For example, I go in for sports.
Go off.
Explode then stop to work. Explode then stop to work. For example, the lights went off in several villages because of the storm.
Go on.
To continue or to happen. To continue or to happen. For example, the meeting was going on in the room next door.
Hang back for something.
To hesitate because you are nervous about doing or saying something. For example, I was sure you knew the answer, but for some reason you hung back.
Hang on.
To wait for a short time. To wait for a short time. For example, Leah says, "Please hang on a minute. I'll be back shortly."
Hang up.
To stop a phone conversation. To stop a phone conversation. For example, "Hi, let me speak to Sophia before you hang up."
Look at. Something.
To examine something closely. To examine something closely. For example, "My stomach hurts. I think the doctor ought to look at it."
Look at. Something.
To view or consider something in a particular way. For example, looked at from that point of view. Her presentation is easier to understand.
Look down upon.
Less important than you or does not deserve respect. For example, the boss always looked down upon Charlie. The boss always looked down upon Charlie.
Look forward to.
Expect eagerly. Expect eagerly. For example, James looks forward to doing this job. James looks forward to doing this job.
Look on.
Watch without getting involved. Watch without getting involved. For example, we have looked on at the incident carefully.
Look out.
Used to warn somebody to be careful, especially when there is danger. For example, "Sam, look out, there's a car coming."
Look over.
To examine something to see how good and big. For example, we looked over the house again before we decided we would rent it.
Look through.
To examine or read something quickly. To examine or read something quickly. For example, Felix looked through his book before the exam.
Look through.
To ignore somebody by pretending not to see them. For example, "He just looked straight through me." He just looked straight through me.
Make for.
Move towards a place. Move towards a place. For example, Billy has to make for a new place. Billy has to make for a new place.
Make somebody out.
To say that something is true when it may not be. For example, she's not as rich as people make out. She's not as rich as people make out.
Run over. Something.
To take more time or spend more money than was planned. For example, Benjamin doesn't believe that. The project ran over time and budget.
See off.
To say goodbye. To say goodbye. For example, we are waiting to see our neighbor off. We are waiting to see our neighbor off.
See through.
To realize the truth about somebody or something. For example, we all saw through him from the beginning. We all saw through him from the beginning.
Set in.
Begin and seem likely to continue. For example, Harry sets his study in because his examination is knocking at the door.
Set somebody up.
To make somebody healthier, stronger, and more lively. For example, the break from work really set me up for holiday.
Set somebody up.
To provide somebody with the money that they need in order to do something. For example, a bank loan helped to set him up in business.
Show up.
To appear or arrive. For example, Robert invited Megan for 8 o'clock, but she didn't show up until 9:30.
Slow down.
To decrease speed or pace. To decrease speed or pace. For example, I need to slow down and take it easy.
Speak up.
To speak louder or assertively. To speak louder or assertively. For example, can you speak up louder? I cannot hear you at all.
Stand up.
To rise from a seated position. To rise from a seated position. For example, please stand up when I call your name. Please stand up when I call your name.
Stand by.
To support each other. To support each other. For example, they stand by each other forever. They stand by each other forever.